I'd like to call this October 14th, 2025 meeting of the Northfield Township Board of Trustees to order. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Please rise for a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Manley, can you please call roll?
Olney. Here. Moko.
Here.
Chick.
Present.
Otto.
Present.
Manley here. Roman.
Here.
And Donner is absent with notice.
Thank you. I make a motion we approve the minutes from September 23, 2025 regular meeting and dispense with reading. Supported by Manley. Any questions, comments, or corrections on those? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as presented. Supported by Manley. Any questions, comments on those? Ms. Chick.
I'd like to pull the manager report. I have a couple of questions on the comment, actually not a question, on the DPW item. I'm thinking that we need to decide what the scope of we are looking for, if we're just looking for a park maintenance crew or if we're looking for an actual DPW, because it's going to make a huge difference in funding and the responsibility, because the DPW is like got way more things than just taking care of park maintenance. So we probably need that information, but if you go for a full bore on a Department of Public Work, it's going to take on all the responsibilities of a DPW in any other community. There is federal funding available if we decide to do that. So that's a longer conversation. Okay, and I also wanted to ask about 75 Barker, the update.
So the update on 75 Barker is we spoke with A3E on October 7th, which I think was last Tuesday, whatever the 7th was. A3E was the company that completed the initial phase 2 environmental inspection in the summer of 2021. They completed additional remediation, but could not go as deep as they would have liked due to structural concerns, the neighbor's parking lot, as well as the structure of the building, and the composition of the sand. As they were excavating, the sand was collapsing over the excavation site. So it's substantial enough to permit activities in accordance with the zoning designation of the time, Whitmore Lake Downtown District, which is commercial on the bottom, residential on the top. A3E recommended that to do one additional, a series of additional tests and some final remediation. They said that there's ways to do that where you don't have the concerns of the sand collapsing in. So it's not a big excavation. There's some ways that they can go underneath and remove any additional contamination that remains on site. So that was A3E's recommendation. They are providing a quote on what that would cost to do those activities. And so I have not received the quote yet. It's supposed to be any day. It was going to be early this week, so I'm going to follow up in the morning and just see what that would cost to complete that one. That was their recommendation to do. They said 5 years. A lot of the contamination is not going to be there anymore, but it would behoove, that would be their recommendation, is just do that one more time, and that should complete all remediation for.
So my understanding is that there's a little either missing documentation or not everybody has all the same documentation. Either the buyer doesn't or the township doesn't have everything. So I'd like to make a motion, if I may, to direct the township manager to provide all documents to the board regarding the initial tank removal, documentation from the first round of testing and the summary. Similarly, the documentation from the second testing by A3 and their report, as well as current 2025 communications between A3 and the township, communications between the attorney and the township concerning the testing and resulting conclusions or opinion prior to and since the purchase agreement for 75 Barker was signed.
I'll support.
Okay, I have the motion by Chick, supported by Otto. Any questions on the motion?
Just
Mr. Olney?
discussion.
Well, you know, this, I mean, this item isn't even on for an item on the agenda, but I mean, if you can make comment, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, I definitely can. So,
Yeah.
I just have a question. This was, looking back through what I was able to find, this was part of a packet that there was still contaminated soil there, but am I correct that this information was never provided to the purchaser, or it wasn't disclosed in the purchase agreement, that it was still contaminated soil there?
I didn't see anything in the purchase agreement. What conversations, I don't know what conversations may or may not have occurred with the purchaser. It was not in the purchase agreement. And I think, I mean, if you, from A3E, if, based on the designation, my understanding from A3E was that if you were keeping it commercial bottom, residential on top, in line with the zoning, then no remediation, further remediation was necessary. Now that we're putting residential on the bottom, that does change the level of remediation. So the board can make the argument that remediation was complete based on how the zoning designation occurred, how the zoning designation when it was sold was articulated. Now, that's my understanding from talking with A3E.
So my next question is or I guess maybe it's not a question, regardless of the use of the property, doesn't matter if it's going to be tore down, if it's going to be residential, if it's going to be commercial, the disclosure of contamination should have been part of the purchase agreement or should have been disclosed to the owner. The owner current owner was made aware of it by his own investigation, wasn't disclosed to him when we sold it. I just think there was a wrongdoing by the township of not disclosing it regardless of the use. And now he's I can't put a price tag on it, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars into work and submitting plans and getting approvals in place that all had residential on the first floor, and we didn't bring up any concerns as a township. So I believe we actually approved it as a township to have residential on the first floor. Like the initial site plans got approved. We're putting, a schedule on him to get work done, and once again, it's on the township. It's not on him. The schedule, I mean, he can't do anything right now. So I just, after we get all these documents, I don't know what the next steps are, but I think that the township did not act in good faith in this purchase agreement.
Anyone else? Ms. Otto?
So there's a couple things that I have questioned because I looked through everything, all the documentation that I received, and I don't see anything in writing from A3E that supports commercial at the bottom and residential at the top in writing. If they want to do that, I would ask them to do it now, so we at least have something. The other part is in the purchaser's agreement in Section D, there's adverse effects where the township didn't disclose the letter from September 1st of 2021. There is, unfortunately, there is enforcement on the seller that we are legally required to disclose, and it wasn't. So what I'd also like to know too is from the current owners, what they would like to do. what are they expecting from us, from the township, and what would they like to do at this point? Can we have them speak?
It's gone this far already, so go ahead.
I think at this point, with all the money and time we have consuming all this, that we're okay with the township taking care of all of the environmental issues, whatever costs are associated with that, and removing the timeline for our completion date, which I think is a very fair offer for this.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Ms. Manley?
I think for Douglas's sake, if we have questions regarding this, can we like email them to him? Because I mean, he wasn't here. He's just got thrown into this. He wasn't involved in the purchase agreement or anything beforehand, so just to maybe make it a little easier on him to answer our questions. So, that's it.
All the questions?
No,
Mr. Olney?
is there any concerns about the surrounding properties with your conversations with A3E about, I mean, there's the residential property right next door, there's a grocery store right next door, not just with the groundwater, or not just with the soil, but with the water table? Did they mention any concerns?
I asked specifically about groundwater, and they said that the risk is very, very low. They said they would not be concerned. They tested the water on 75 Barker, and that came clean of any contaminants. So based on how far the wells go down, and then the casing for the tank, they were not personally concerned and assessed a very low risk for surrounding residences.
Thank you.
Anyone else? We have a motion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Anything else on the consent agenda?
So I guess are we going to wait to collect some documents on this before any decisions are made, or does this need to be put on an agenda?
The motion was to secure the documentation, so
Shared with everybody?
at this point, Mr. McDonough
McDonough, yeah.
will carry on from there.
I just have some concerns that right now, they're in a holding pattern and they still have a timeline to be held accountable to.
Yeah, we understand.
Okay. I just,
Understood.
yeah, that's just a concern.
Okay, next item is adopt the balance of the agenda. I make a motion, we adopt the balance of the agenda.
We didn't do the consent.
Oh, I'm sorry. Consent agenda, there's a motion to accept as presented. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Make a motion, we adopt the balance of the agenda. Support by Manley. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Petitions, communications, anyone wishing to address the board may do so now for a period of 3 minutes. Anyone? Seeing none, we'll move on. In that case, there's no board member comments, clarifications. Correspondence was included in the packet. I believe there's none others. Old business, item 1, community park property split update. Mr. McDonough.
So as the board is aware, the staff completed several iterations of what the split could look like for the community park, and we're bringing this to the board this evening primarily due to timing. If the board desires the split to occur now, this provides OHM with the time necessary to complete all surveying activities in time to turn into the county for the 2026 tax rolls. There are 2 primary options for the board to consider. Both involve really how to account for the non-motorized trail. Option 1 is to include the non-motorized path as part of parcel B. This is the one that could be sold in the future. This option maximizes parcel B's size at roughly 10.7 acres. I do want to caution the board on this approach. as part of the Parks and Recs, Washtenaw County's Parks and Recs Connecting Community Project agreements, we may not change the use of the real property improved in whole or in part using the Parks and Rec from county funds unless the township provides affected citizens and Parks and Rec with reasonable notice of and opportunity to comment on any such proposed change. And then from there, if county approves that the property qualifies as benefiting primarily persons in parks, trails, and other recreational activities, then we can move forward, or we return the grant funding from the non-motorized path and we can move forward. The requirement mentioned above shall be enforced for 20 years following the completion of construction of the improvement being undertaken in the project. And on an aside, I want to apologize to the board for not including that contract in the read ahead. That would have been helpful to know prior to me verbalizing it here. With that, the option presents numerous legal hurdles that we'd have to be navigated by the township and realistically provides no more developable terrain than the second option. Option 2 preserves the non-motorized path as part of the park parcel. It reduces the total size of the parcel to a little over 6 acres, but does not reduce the developable acreage for any future developers. If the board wants to move forward with a split today, the staff would recommend option 2 to keep the non-motorized path as part of the park parcel, parcel A. Our overarching recommendation this evening is not to make a decision today and instead wait for the results of the master plan and the site plan for the park itself to make a fully informed decision on how the township wants to move forward. I'll pause there for questions from the board.
Ms. Chip.
So I'll make a motion to approve option 3 to allow time for consideration of the proposed OHM split, completion of the master plan, review of the Northfield master plan revision and its compliance with the recommended split, past approved boundary documents, review of past grant award requirements, and to refer the item to the planner and the planning commission for recommendations or possible changes before taking any actions on a split of the 23 acres.
I'm sorry, who support? Mr. Olney? Okay, motion with support by Olney. Any questions, comments on the motion? Ms. Otto?
So one of the considerations that I was thinking about is in the non-motorized pathway on Barker Road is a good example. While we did that walkway, it is a non-motorized pathway that was paid with county funds, and we maintain that whole thing. While it doesn't belong to anybody, we still maintain it. We never had to give the funds back. And it's still part of the community. And we maintain it by, we do snow removal on it. What else do we do? If there's any repairs that need to be done on it, we do them. So I would like to look into if we also could do the same thing with that part of the trail, is that if we could make it part of the 10 acres, but we still maintain it and we still take care of it.
Mr. Olney?
Does this have any negative impact on the park work that's supposed to be done this coming spring, the boardwalk on the lakeside, any of that work?
The answer is no, because the MDNR grant, anything on the upland side will be a part of the acreage that was turned into MDNR, which is not parcel B, either whether you want to call it the non-motorized path part of it or not. So the short answer is there's not going to be any impacts with work next year.
Mr. McDonald, what was the amount on the grant from the county that was received?
I may have to, I want to say it was over $100,000 with a matching by the county. I think pitched in 250,000 or 225, something in that range of what the county provided. We provided about 140.
Okay. Ms. Chick?
Yeah, is that just the trail along the west portion, or is that all the trail work within the park?
No, just,
Just the,
The west portion?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. New business, item 1, consider KB1 LLC action to assign interest in vacated property at Brookside and Hillcrest. Mr. McDonald.
On September 29th, we received a letter notifying the township it's being sued, and it's an action to assign interest in vacated real property. 31 other residents also received a similar suit. And it's really, if you look at the Land Division Act, it requires that to vacate, correct, or revise a recorded plat or any part of a recorded plat, a complaint shall be filed in the circuit court by the owner of a lot in the subdivision, a person of record claiming under the owner or the governing body of the municipality in which subdivision covered by the plat is located. Like I said, 31 other residents received that. So if there was a diagram in the read-ahead packet, Hillcrest Drive and Brookside Drive, kind of that little U-shape, that part of the plat is what's being challenged. And the township attorney has already filed an appearance. And so really the decision for the board is to whether consent without objection or participate in the litigation. Staff recommendation after talking with the township attorney, the assessor, and public safety, police and fire is to participate in the litigation. The suit does not mention what the plaintiff plans to do with the plat, which I think is critical to understand prior to determining what the township wants to do. Some specific concerns, and talking with Chief Bishop, if you look at that plat, the roads are difficult to get into that part of the neighborhood. So if there's a fire or emergency, navigating equipment, you would probably use that plat. So we just don't know what they're going to do with it yet. We have not been able to find out what the plan is for that plat. So that's a specific public safety concern. But overall, we just don't know enough to make an informed decision. And so we do recommend participating in the litigation to understand what the intent is behind acquiring that portion of the plat, and then the board can make an informed decision on way forward.
Thank you. Mr. Moko.
So Douglas, this would be to you. Nobody knows who the interested KB1 is? It's not a neighbor wanting to, they've been maintaining it or anything like that? It's just it's a vacant piece of grass right there, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a dumpster. You got the
By the
apartment
apartments,
complex. There's a
yeah.
dumpster, and then it's just it is open ground.
So it's not the apartment complex owner that's filing the suit to try and get that land? It didn't line up in the tax roll, so that's okay. That was my only question.
So I just am having a hard time understanding this. Someone bought the end of the triangle. There's another portion that's owned by the township, and they want to take ownership of the part that's owned by the township due to us not maintaining it or vacating it, I guess?
No, it's essentially unclaimed right now, so they're making the claim that it belongs to them, and that's what it's going to circuit court for, and so that's essentially, this is an unclaimed. They are saying it's an unclaimed portion of the plat, and that they're going to make a claim that now belongs and is assigned to them.
All right.
Ms. Chick.
So did I miss it? What is the size of this piece of property that they want to take over? Is there an acreage involved, or?
It's very small. There's no acreage that was assigned. If you look at the diagram, it's essentially, if you look, Hillcrest and Brookside kind of come to a point. You got the plat is a triangular shape, so it's It's not much. I don't have an exact amount of acreage that entails, but it is a small portion of the plat.
So there is no property number associated with the plat? It's like in limbo somewhere?
Correct.
Okay, all right, that's what I wanted to know.
So I'll make a motion to participate in the litigation of the vacated property at Brookside and Hillcrest.
I'll support.
Supported by Chick. Any other questions, comments?
Were
Only.
the other 31 township residents all in this same Brookmore Court subdivision? Are they trying to claim a bunch of properties in the same area? Do we know?
Yeah, it's primarily, there were some that were outside. There was a couple kind of, I think there was a business owner on Main Street that received this, and they don't live in the area. So primarily, the residents were all in this neighborhood, but there were a few that were outside.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 2, consider land purchase opportunity. Mr. McDonald.
Local resident approached the township in late September with an offer to sell 3 parcels. The parcels are located north of 6 Mile Road, east of Coyle Road, west of the US 23 southbound off-ramp to 6 Mile Road, and south of Delaware. The resident made an initial offer of $100,000 for all 3 parcels. The resident wanted to provide the township with the first right of refusal. Highlights for the parcel: limited frontage for the 3 parcels, which the majority being on parcel 190, and then parcels 180 and 185 both possess access to Coyle Road. Parcel 180 also possesses access to Delaware Road. Bottom line is the staff recommends no further action. Again, we spoke with the assessor and don't recommend action at this point in time or any further efforts from the township in acquiring these 3 parcels.
Thank you. Is there any other questions about this? Ms. Otto?
So the only thing that I'm going to just add to this is that this is part of Horseshoe Lake Association. This puts us in the same situation that we were with the 82 properties that we sold to Horseshoe Lake. I know, Douglas, you weren't here at the time, but we owned 82 acres on Horseshoe Lake in that area. And we acquired them through tax sale. Some were purchased, not with good foresight or anything. And then we ended up having to pay property tax on them. So because of that, we cannot have these properties under the Horseshoe Lake Association. It's private. And we cannot do public access for any properties that the township owns on Horseshoe Lake. So it almost contradicts why the township would own the properties.
These also zoned commercial, and they're in Horseshoe Lake?
No, they can't be.
This is on the west side of 23?
Yeah.
It's Horseshoe Lake,
Horseshoe Lake Association's on
or the highway, right?
Yeah.
It says property class, commercial, vacant.
It is zoned commercial for these three parcels.
And under Horseshoe Lake Association, you
Can't have
cannot
commercial.
any businesses.
Yep.
Yep, it is.
Not our catch.
So, no further action if anyone, unless someone wants to make a motion. Okay, move on. Item 3, consider options for allocation of Washtenaw County Older Person Service millage funding. Mr. McDonald.
So we've received, so far from the older adults millage, we've received 2 tranches of funding. The first came through the Capital Emergency Fund, which directly supported the paving of the south parking lot. County did approve to use their capital emergency funds for that parking lot. The second came through an annual allocation of at least $200,000 for each qualified senior center in Washtenaw County. So the way that's going to work is we will submit an invoice we will receive the $200,000. The Directorate of Aging Services is still standing up. I don't believe they've hired a director. They were interviewing the last time I spoke with county. But essentially, once that's stood up, we'll provide, our plan is a monthly report currently of how we would spend that $200,000. So we'll submit an invoice for $200,000. They will send a check, and then we provide reports on how we are spending that that money. And so to provide full transparency for the board this evening, we wanted, the Community Services Director and I generated a list of items we plan to use to fund through the Older Persons Services millage. This has been socialized through the Directorate of Aging Services. I'll go just briefly line by line. And whether it was budgeted for by the township and then the dollar amount. First one being People's Express. Bit of a story, it was not budgeted this year. It automatically renews contract, and so we missed it, frankly. And so that's going to be about $29,000 for this year, but that directly supports one of the priorities for the Directorate of Aging Services, which is transportation for elderly. So we believe that's a good fit. The Director of Aging Services has come back and said they've got to do a little bit further review for People's Express, so I can't say definitively. Our plan is to use for that contract this year to use those funds, and I think it makes sense. On an aside, we're going to have People's Express come to the board the first meeting in January to provide a report of services provided as we start looking at fiscal year 27 and the budget, just so that the board has complete understanding of what services are being provided. We received our first report that I think we ever have from People's Express late this afternoon with ridership and things like that. Maybe we have before, and so we did get one today. They'll come to the board in January to provide a fuller brief, but we do plan to use the funding here to support that contract. The next line, Assistant to the Community Services Director, was budgeted by the township. We did our series of interviews last week. We are nearing making an offer. That's a part-time position, but that individual would be directly aligned with our Meals on Wheels, our senior cafe program, with our senior programming at the community center. And so we think that that is a perfect use of the funding. That was budgeted $22,000 for this fiscal year. We won't hit that amount because we had a gap with our assistant, but plan is to have someone in the seat by the 1st of November. We'll keep the board posted when we make the offer. We have not as of yet. Next, going on to the next page, programs. A lot of programs that we have the opportunity. Cardio drumming, for instance, is a great program. At one of the parades recently, there was a huge float with 20 seniors doing cardio drumming in the parade. So there's been a demand in the township. That would be one. But then also looking at the policy, there's several other programs that we have our eyes on, and so we increased funding for that GL number. Gas cards, we received a grant for $16,000 worth of gas cards. That goes to our volunteers for Meals on Wheels. If they deliver meals, they get a gas card at the end of the month. So that's an incentive. That's been extremely successful for the township. We think purchasing additional gas cards, I think, would be helpful to maintain the Meals on Wheels program. And then we did budget it for travel. Before COVID, we had a travel program. They would meet at the community center and go on a day trip. We did budget for that this year, and so we're adding a little bit there just to enhance that and get that program back rolling for our seniors. And so that really comes out to $92,867 from the $200,000 available. And so the way forward for that would be that we would come back to the board in February with kind of an assessment of how this initial spending is going, and then What I'd really like to do is reach out to some of the other townships that have received this, kind of share best practices across the board, and then come back to the board with the remainder of the funding, and how we plan to spend that. Our understanding is this will be annual. I don't know that for certain right now. That's what the policy memo articulates, is that this would be an annual funding. So my assumption is we would get another $200,000 next year. That's to be seen as the Director of Aging Services stands up. That's our current plan, with kind of an initial, not quite half the funds that we would be receiving from county.
Thank you. Ms. Otto?
So one question I have for People's Express, didn't we have it at 50,000 in previous years? No. We didn't?
No, it was at like 15, and a lot of people on the previous board voted it up, doubled it.
Doubled it, okay, so it was like
This is
30.
the doubled number.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I want. I thought it was higher, but I wasn't sure. And I was surprised that we didn't budget this, because,
I didn't know it was evergreen either, that it just renewed every year.
yeah, we just renewed it every year.
It automatically renews, and so I think, and so that's part,
Okay.
that's going to be a community services contract to manage, and that's,
Okay.
I think it was not assigned to the staff, which is
Nope.
why it got dropped.
It never was. So I appreciate that, because it's a great service. The other one is the 16,800, is, you're adding that on top of what you've already received in the 16,800, so you're doubling it. Okay. And then for the trips, was there money associated, like a fee that they had to pay for the trips, like a nominal fee, like $20, $30? Okay, all right, that's what I thought. That's all I had.
Anyone else?
I guess it's an accounting question. So we had a contract with People's Express for a certain amount of money, but it wasn't being taken out of the budget, or didn't show up on the budget? How does that
We
happen?
don't have it assigned to an account for this fiscal year, so there is, so if you just looked at, if you went on to, if you went on our accounts, you wouldn't have, it wasn't, there's no
Really?
line item for it.
Okay,
And so that would catch up to us at the end of the year when we start talking audits and things like that.
thank you.
I hear a motion. I'll make motion that the board approve $92,867 from the $200,000 available for improvements to the community center support services.
I'll support.
Supported by Otto. Any questions, comments further? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 4, health insurance plan renewals. Mr. McDonough.
The township is in its renewal window for the employer-offered health insurance plans for township employees. We laid out 4 different options for decision regarding the township's employer-offered health care plan. The first is remain with the current MAP plan. Premium increases 12.7%, or $2,860. Option 2 is Blue Care Network, which is an HMO-style plan. It has a 9.4% decrease compared with the current plan. Major disadvantage in this plan is that its recipients can only receive care in-network. There are no out-of-network options. Option 3 is Aetna. It's similar. It has a 1%, $218 premium increase. The disadvantage in this plan is that this would force some members to change their primary care providers, as not all doctors in our area accept Aetna insurance. It's becoming more common, but it's still not common in Michigan. Feedback received from the staff members, this becomes problematic for certain members who are currently receiving specialty care. We looked at an option 4, which is a hybrid. Really, in option 2 and 3, you still have to offer the silver plan for our current mapped plan. This would be in addition, And the hybrid, we looked at all kinds of combinations of a PPO and HMO with the current silver plan, and then other options. And the reality is, you don't get the cost savings. Really, the assumption is that you'd remove the bronze plan, and those 6 members would then take either, whether it's Atnea or the Blue Care Network. That's not a great assumption to make. More than likely, many of the 6 would probably go to the silver plan, which may actually increase the premiums. One thing to keep in mind is that the collective bargaining agreements specifically state that the township will provide and pay the medical insurance premiums for a Simply Blue HSA Silver plan for each participating employee. And so that really kind of tied our hands a little bit. We have to offer the silver, so it's your Blue Care, Atnea, hybrid would be replacing the current bronze plan. And so that's the first decision. The second decision is HSA, the healthcare savings account, whether to increase. I recommend we don't at this point in time. And then the third decision is to opt out of the caps, which was in your read ahead, the resolution that's required by state law to either stay with the hard caps, which we are not right now, the 80-20% option, and the exemption option, which is what we'd resolve that opt out of the requirements. We're paying more than the cap. Any questions?
Ms. Otto?
So are we still using Burham and Flowers as our agency?
They have changed. Their Acrisure is formerly
That's what I
Burnham.
thought. Because I thought, whatever happened to Burnham and Flowers? And I went on their website and this popped up. So I've been out of the insurance industry for about 10 years now, so. I'm surprised that Aetna does not have the network, because I was the one that created the Aetna network 25, 30 years ago. And they have them, I mean, it should have been full. I'm just surprised, maybe they lost a lot of contracts. The mapped renewal, that 13% is high. And I do agree not to increase the HSAs.
Anything more?
No.
Mr. Only?
Looking at this map plan that includes a almost 13% increase, or $2,860 total monthly premium. Is that to the employee or to the employer? Are we paying an additional $2,860 per month? The township is, right?
Yeah.
Times 18 employees? Or is that by it varies by family members added?
That's total
So it's $2,860
per month.
per month in total, not per employee.
Correct.
All right, I thought this was times 18 and then plus family members, and that's an easier number. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay. All right.
It's a resolution.
Okay. Do you want to do Kathy?
Motion?
The resolution's for the hard cap, right? Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution number 25-014. This is resolution of the Northfield Township Board of Trustees to opt out of the restrictions mandated by Public Act 152 of 2011 on public employers' payments for medical plans.
Support.
Motion by Manley, supported by Chick. Any questions, comments further on that? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Manley?
Olney? Yes. Donner? Oh, sorry. Moko?
Yes.
Manley? Yes. Roman?
Yes.
Chick?
Yes.
Otto?
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Trustee liaison reports, supervisor report. There was a meeting with Salem Township regarding the police service contract on October 9th. A draft has been done by Attorney Fink. Review is ongoing and should be on for our next meeting. And I'd like to commend Ms. McDonald for her efforts to get the community center parking lot, that's the north side so far, completed, and additionally secure county funding for the south lot, so.
Do we need to approve BPC?
Oh, I'm sorry. You could have jumped in sooner.
You were on a roll.
Okay. Okay, yep, I'm sorry, we'll back up to item, new business 4B. Approval of health insurance plans for 2026 plan year. Okay, motion,
So I'll make the motion to stay with the current mapped plan as outlined in the information provided by our township manager.
Small support.
motion by Otto, supported by Chick. On that, we don't need a roll call, so all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
And then I'll make a second motion to support that we have no increase to the HSA contributions for the township, given the double-digit premium increases experienced again this year.
Motion by Otto, support by Manley. Any questions, comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Sorry I went out of order there,
Nope, that's good.
but my report still stands.
Just to,
Yes?
we ask that the Salem Township manager be present at that meeting when we discuss this. Just a request.
The supervisor
I'm sorry, supervisor, yes. So
at the next meeting?
whatever meeting it's on our agenda for,
Oh, I can ask
Yeah,
him. I
just a
don't
request.
know if he can or not, but
Yep.
I can ask.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. On that note, we had asked him to supply the board with the information from the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department regarding the problem that they had, and we have not gotten that yet.
Okay. Thank you. Clerk's report, Ms. Manley. Planning Commission report, Ms. Chick.
We did not meeting, it was canceled.
ZBA report, Mr. Olney.
We have not met, just got notification the October meeting is canceled, but we have to have one more meeting this year, whether it's November or December.
Parks and Recreation report, Ms. Otto.
Okay, I met with our township manager and our controller in regards to the $50,000 that we thought would be rolling over from last budget to this budget. It is in the budget, it's under our capital improvement plan, and we are going to have an agenda item on the next township board meeting in regards to some of the things that the Parks and Rec would like to do with that capital improvement money. And that's all I have at this point, because we have a meeting on Thursday.
And there's no Land Preservation Committee report in the absence of Mr. Donner. Announcements, trick or treat trail, October 19th from 2 to 5 at the community park. Contact the community center to sign up to pass out treats. Going to the next is petitions, communications. Anyone wishing to address the board? No. Okay. Board member comments, Mr. Olney.
I just want the public to know the next board meeting on the 28th, we're projecting that the Salem Township discussion will take place there. So if there's any communications that would like to be shared for correspondence, would they be due by the 22nd, the week before, the Wednesday? I just need some clarification. When do you have to have an email in to have it as part of a packet?
It'd be the week before.
There's a specific date, though, right? The Wednesday prior to the meeting. So if anyone would like any correspondence in the packet for that, they would need to be submitted by the end of the October 22nd.
Mr. Moko.
Yeah, I just want to say, Chief Smith, I hate to put you on the spot here. You hit your 20-year mark last month, and I don't know if anybody caught that, so congratulations on 20 years. Lieutenant Powell hit 20 years on the 3rd, so I mean, that's pretty amazing. And then Officer Champagne and Guerrero, they just hit their 2-year mark. So it's pretty impressive. And that's really all I got. Thank you.
Ms. Manley. Ms. Otto.
So I just wanted to let the board know. We usually always have a participant, many, many years since I've been on the board, that have been in the audience and has come to the board and made her opinions known. And I just want to honor Mary Devlin, passing away last week.
Thank you. Ms. Chick.
Yeah, I would like to also mention Ms. Devlin. She was a good friend and a good participant in these meetings as well. She served the community, both her and her husband, for a long time. We will miss her a lot. We've missed her not coming to the meetings most recently, but she was a mighty little force, that woman, and she will be missed by the entire township. So condolences to her family.
Chief Smith.
Oh, my gosh. I know, right? She was something.
Mr. Moko, I appreciate you acknowledging that. Just so the board knows, when I hired in here, I told him I'd give him 10 years, and it's been 20. It's been 20 wonderful years. And I have enjoyed every minute of serving this community. With that being said, I do want to let the board know that our recruit is in the academy. He started on Monday, and he's going to be a very welcomed addition.
Good.
Chief Bishop.
Just a couple things on the same time, or same topic. We had 3 of our individuals pass their state certification for firefighter. One of them, which I think some of you are very familiar with, Mr. Bill Kennedy, at their awards, he was awarded the top academic recruit. He finished with a 97.7% on all tests, quizzes, which was the biggest out of a 36 recruit class. So he graduated that. We had 2 other individuals graduate from the EMT and have already attained their state license. So we're continuing to grow those groups. Mr. Jeff Kraft and Stephanie Hodge are the individuals who received their EMT. So Stephanie is entered into the next fire academy in Brighton, and should complete that around May, I believe. So continue to grow and get people going, and we're getting more and more interaction from people as they call in and are interested in the fire service again. So
Very good. Make a motion to adjourn. Supported by Ms. Manley. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Have a good night.